We want to talk with you about the books that feed your imagination and the vices that spark your soul.
We drink, we curse, we read things. Come sit by us. Expect no judgment, just good times.
Welcome to Paper and Vices. Books reviewed, vices indulged.
Mature content warning.
I am Victoria Papers.
And I am Lee Vices. And I have already been drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah.
She is drinking and I am drugs tonight. The drugs are migraine medication and caffeine, but drugs.
Still drugs.
We're all the vices tonight.
We are.
We survived 2021.
Yeah, we did.
Right after surviving 2020 with no break in between.
But that's okay, because 2022 is going to be a lot of the same shit. We're just going to know how to handle it better.
Yeah.
Give fewer fucks about it.
It's this bullshit, but with experience.
Yeah.
So, hi, how are you? How was your Christmas and shit?
Yes, Christmas and shit. That's right. Christmas and shit was awesome. We had like 3 Christmas celebrations between all the family and all the things, but it was really fun. And like, it was one of those, like, December was one of those months where, like, by the end of it, I was so done and so tired, but I had a lot of fun. Like, if you're gonna be tired and maxed out, like, if I could look back and say, okay, I had fun, like, at least my fatigue is worth it. I feel like that's not a horrible place to be. So, anyway.
Totally fair.
Yeah. How about you? How was your Christmas and shit?
It was good. It was mellow. I think it was the last episode we talked about, like, I had all my shit done and I was at the tipping point of the roller coaster and now I could just kind of like drink and coast.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really nice. I took so many motherfucking naps. And like that week between Christmas and New Year's is just, I know some people hate it. I love it because there's like, no one plans shit for that week. Unless you're working like retail or service industry, in which case I love you. I feel for you. I am sending you all of the vibes because what the actual fuck the last 2 years. But it was super chill. We were so lazy. My kid spent like 3 days in pajamas and every day she was like, I'm still in pajamas. And I'm like, you sat on your ass and played Minecraft. Like, you're okay. And she would take a shower and put on new pajamas and then the next day be like, I'm in pajamas. And I'm like, yes, okay, here's the thing. You are old enough now to know that some weeks are lazy. And this is a lazy week.
This is a lazy week.
School is out. That's just, it just is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. And so she was like, oh, so if I want to play Legos all day tomorrow, I'm like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
And she's like, what if I want to have Bojangles for breakfast? Because Bojangles has breakfast biscuits. I'm like, talk to your dad because I'm not driving anywhere before 10 a.m., but I don't care. And then she looked at me one day and was like, I really want coffee. Can we go to Starbucks? And I was like, yeah, let's go to Starbucks.
Yeah, fuck
and
yeah,
we went
man.
to Starbucks. And I feel like now that she's in public school, she's really appreciating this whole not working thing, which is great. On Christmas, so we've talked about this many times, we either go to the movies or watch a new to us movie and get Chinese food on Christmas. And so this year we watched Encanto. Can we just talk about that movie for a minute?
Fuck yes, we can. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that movie.
So I learned what an arepa was like 6 months after you started dating your husband because he's Colombian.
Mm-hmm.
And you have spent a considerable amount of time in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
And your middle child is going to look like the main character in Encanto when she's that age. Very close. Her skin might be a little lighter.
Yeah.
But because your babies are half Colombian. That was just such a good fucking movie. I cried.
I cried a lot too.
Every mother I know No, I take that back. Every woman I know, every female person, whether they were born female or became female after birth, cried watching that damn movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It hits hard, like with a lot of like just the whole theme. And I don't know if we should do a spoiler alert and tell people the theme, or if I should just shut my face and let them experience
It's on
it.
Disney Plus. It's been out in theaters since Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Give us 1 minute and 30 seconds if you don't want to hear spoilers.
Yes. No, I just thought the theme of just like having that pressure put on you was just so I don't know, it was just so poignant in like real
Dude,
life and
yeah.
just yeah, and that song by Louisa, it was just so fucking catchy and amazing and like so
Yeah.
good.
Oh. So I am, for those of you that do Enneagram, and we should do a whole episode about Enneagram at some point. I
Yes.
am a 1 wing 2.
Mm-hmm.
And my 2 wing, especially growing up in a very performative based religious cult, like that song and being the older sister in my family was just like, oh, oh, Mr.
Yeah.
Miranda, you did not have to call me out like that in public on a movie. So good though. Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, good fucking times. One
Yeah.
day we will do a long drunken episode about Enneagram and our favorite characters for each Enneagram. And
Yeah.
Louisa and Dinah from Innkeepers are twos. They are the twoest of twos.
Mm-hmm.
And I love them.
Yes. You know what was really cool about Encanto too is like, and I found like a post on this that I shared a while back that was like talking about all the ways like that movie is actually really authentic to Colombian culture. And you'll notice like if you watch the movie again and look at like the table, like the food that they're eating like on the table, like one morning like at the breakfast scene you see they're eating buñuelos, which are like these crunchy on the outside, doughy in the middle, like little amazing balls of pure joy. And then like the mom has the arepas and then like the flowers, like just everything
Mm-hmm.
is super authentic to like Colombian culture and everything, which I thought was cool. And honestly, like as even though I've been to Colombia a few times, like I don't think I would have noticed it if and like while we were watching it, my husband was pointing things out. I was like, oh hey, that's that. And then so I don't know. It was just I appreciate that they made sure to not brush over tiny small details like that. So good job,
As
Disney.
a basic white bitch who is married to an autistic white dude, raising a little basic white bitch, and I mean that with love, it is awesome to watch and experience and absorb media that is made about cultures other than my own, that is not
Mm-hmm.
a documentary. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
yes, this movie was obviously made for everyone to enjoy, but there are things that your husband appreciates about that movie, I'm sure, on a level that I would just never get.
Right.
And because it's not my home, it's not about my home.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Like Frozen is 2 movies. Tangled is awesome, but it's nice to see not white bitches sometimes.
Yes. Yes.
It's real nice.
Well, and I mean, those were good classic fairy tales. And I mean,
Sure.
even Frozen, even though Frozen wasn't a classic fairy tale, like it's still
It
that
tried really hard to be like, they
it
looked
did.
at the Hans Christian Andersen story and then were like, okay, we don't like the cover and did a different thing, but there's a white girl in it with powers, so that's fine.
Yeah. No, it's just nice. Like, and I don't know how much of this is like, okay, hey, we now have our own like subscription service, so now we could put out like all the things and explore all the different like movie types. But I don't know. It's a nice branch. I know there's other movies like that. Moana is pretty good too. But
Like, I hesitate to say that they didn't whitewash it because obviously it's in English.
mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that there are ways that it's whitewashed that as a basic white person, I don't see.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice, like I said, to just not see a mirror of myself. So, yeah, that was amazing. And we have listened to We Don't Talk About Bruno 8,523 times.
Oh God. Yes.
No, I still like it though. I do.
It's so
Like give
catchy.
me another week, but yeah. Like adults on Twitter are talking about how we don't talk about Bruno, and I'm like, that's
Yes.
right. We don't.
Now that song is stuck in my head. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's all it
You'll
takes.
think of me at 3:00 in the morning.
I will. Oh man. All right. So let's talk about 2022 and all the book joy. What are we gonna do for 2020? What are we reading in 2022?
So far, I'm trying to finish up an Audible book that I started while my kid was still in school. And it's one of these raunchy Regency books, which is fine. It's called Potent Pleasures by Eloisa James, and it's in the Audible Plus stuff. So if you have like a subscription, it doesn't cost you any credits. And like the historical details are accurate. The society stuff is accurate, which is great. It's like 10 hours long, and it covers a lot, but it's starting to be like, oh my God. Like, and right now it could just be where I am. I'm still 6 hours from the end. Spoiler alert for a book that came out several years ago. The obvious love interests get married, and they're having an argument that's basically the basis of the catalyst for the entire story arc. And it's literally just like one of those situations that drives me nuts, where one of the people just needs to blurt out the truth to the other one, and they're not. And like, so maybe it's not the whole book. Maybe it's just that I got to this scene because I was really enjoying it to this point, even though it's long AF. I'll listen to it for like an hour here or there with my headphones on while I'm doing stuff. But like, those scenes drive me nuts. And I understand them. I understand what it's like to be in your head and not want to say the truth. I understand like emotions blocking you and all that other shit. I understand that it's a real thing that happens. It is not an enjoyable thing as an observing third party to experience.
Yes.
Not in TV shows, not in movies, not in books.
1,000% agree. It's awful.
Like, Jesus Christ, just tell the truth. Don't let him yell at you and fold into yourself because you don't. Just be like, it was you, fuckwit. You're a man whore and you deflowered me in a garden when I was 16. That's why I'm not a virgin on our wedding night and you don't even recognize me, you whore. Like, don't let him yell at you. Just be like, hey, you're the slut, not me. I can't. It's like a 15-minute scene and he's angry and he's calling her names. And I'm like, she was drunk and 16 and you fucked her in a garden. Do not. I just can't. I can't. Like, it's so awful. Like, it's one of those reasons why I could watch Seinfeld when I was a kid, and I can't fucking watch Seinfeld or Friends now, because it's like, Jesus Christ, just say the truth. Just say what you're thinking. Just say what happened. Yes, shit gets out of hand in real life sometimes, but not to this level. Jesus Christ. Somebody talk. What are you reading?
I know we talked about this last year around New Year's. You know, there's this balance between, you know, like a lot of people make a big deal about, you know, the new year and stuff, but I think when I'm still reading my fucking thing from I don't know whenever, I don't know, I have a lot of books that I've not finished, and I think I'm very hopeful that I'm not going to give up on these books, but right now I've just gotten to the point where they've been half read on my nightstand for so long I don't want to look at them anymore. So
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I've read less during the pandemic, and that is not what I expected.
Yeah, you would figure it would be the opposite, but I don't know.
I get it.
But there's a mindset thing there too. Like, I don't know. So,
and there's also like, if a book, I have issues with middles of books. Authors have issues with, everyone has issues with the middle of a book, right? If I have 7 other books I'm semi-interested in, and you are in the middle, like, that's what I've found hardest about reading multiple books at once, is getting through the middle.
Fair. That's a good observation.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, you're still looking at these books.
Yeah. No, so I think for this year, I really want to revisit some books that I never years ago. Like for example, I'm gonna sadly, you could help me correct this last name, Julie Caligagua.
Oh,
Caligagua.
hell no, I just call her Julie C. Is
Julie.
this the
Okay.
vampire books?
Yes, I
Or
only
no,
read
Julie K. Sorry.
Julie K. Yeah, I read the first one. I think you recommended the book to me.
I read the first one. I have the second one. I haven't finished the series. It's on my to be read list as well.
Yes, that is. I'm like, I fucking loved that first book, and I think that when I read it, the second one hadn't come out yet. And so I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is amazing. I'm going to read the next book when it drops. And then I just never did. And
The Immortal Rules, that's what it is.
yes.
Yeah. Blood of Eden was the first one. It was so fucking good.
It was
so,
really well
like,
written.
Mad Max meets Pick Your Sexy Vampire shit meets real fucked up Game of Thrones. Like,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. So, like, I want to pick that one up. And I also realized the other day, like, my reading with like spiritual kind of things, like I want to kind of pick up some more, like one of the books that I'm actually not sick of looking at it or reading it. I stopped reading it because I was like, okay, I can't dedicate brain or heart like power to this right now, is the whole church encounter narrative. And I keep saying I'm going to read it, but I'm like, all right, now I'm going to really read it. And then there's also making of biblical womanhood, and like just like a lot of deconstruction and just like whole like history. That
shit's really stuff. Heavy though.
It is, but I would like to read it this year. I'm like,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. Sorry, like my brain's. There's one more that I wanted to mention was Kristen Cashore came out with another book in that series.
That's Fire right. You series. Haven't read the new Graceling Realms book.
I haven't. So, and I feel like I need to go back and like read that series again and then read that one. But anyway, so I don't really have anything that I want to talk about that I'm like reading right now, just because I'm in that state of transition, like with the holiday and everything, like things kind of clusterfucky, and I'm like, all right, what am I going to read? And that's
You're
my plan.
Planning your reading, which is smart. I got one of these beautiful book planners that you were supposed to write dates, start and finished, and notes and stuff in last year from Owl Crate, and I sat it on my bedside table and I wrote in it twice.
Nice. Yeah. Planners are a whole nother thing though. Like
people are like, how many books did you read last year? I don't know. I stopped counting at 50. 50 is when I stopped feeling guilty and like I'm wasting my time. I stopped counting at 50. More than 50.
I feel like I should count this year. I have never counted how many books I've read. And I feel like just to have the experience, I should do it. Just to be like, hey, I did the thing and now because like I have a lot of friends that do the whole book counting thing. And they usually do it because it's like a goal. Yeah.
Sure. But if it makes you feel weird or threatened or invalid as a reader, if you don't hit that goal, then no, don't do it. I used to do it because it was bragging rights and it was stupid, and I very easily and every year for several years in a row got into the triple digits, and I was happy to brag about that, and I realized I just sounded like a dick. I naturally read fast. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make me a more valid reader than someone who reads slower and doesn't get as many books read. So I personally don't really count anymore.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I keep track of the 50 is because if I don't read that much a year, I need to watch my mental health, because one of the biggest things when my mental health tanks is that I stop reading.
Yeah.
So that's like a personal thing. That's not but I mean, if you just want to do it to know how many you did or to be proud of yourself or to challenge yourself, I think it's great.
Yeah. No, something to think about. Because I actually, like, just now having, like, I know we talked about it, like, a little bit before, like, the whole idea of counting books and stuff. But now, like, I've always, like, just totally been like, meh, like, I'm not going to do that or whatever. But now I'm like, oh, what if I did?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, and like I said, I don't find anything inherently wrong with it. Because I read quickly, I found that it was something that was making me kind of a dick, and that's not
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm enough of a dick in so many other ways.
You gotta choose like what areas you're gonna be a dick in, because some dickishness is justified. So, you know.
What are your vices this week?
So someone brought Oreo cookies into my house, and the same person, which, to be honest, Oreo cookies, like, they're not normally a temptation for me. Like, if I pass them in the grocery store aisle, like, nothing, like, it doesn't call my name or anything. But if they're in my house and they're open, I can't fucking stop myself. But the good news is that I've eaten all of them, so now they're out of my house.
It's the only way to do it.
I mean, go big or go home, you know?
Good, yeah. And I mean, we just got past that week of, fuck it, nothing matters. I'm going to eat Oreo cookies for lunch.
Yep.
Like, I actively, the day before the new year, did a grocery pickup of fruits and vegetables and fibrous things for my child, because we had just all been eating like it was the holidays. And I was like, yeah, no, let's fix this.
Yes. Let's have carrots. So, it's good.
Yeah. No judgment.
Nope.
Mine is, so there's this company, I think they're in Vancouver. They're called Haggensborg Chocolates. And let me see. No, they're in Burnaby, British Columbia. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
They are farm to bar chocolate, fair trade, slave free, all that jazz. And they make these little chocolates, milk chocolates, called Truffle pigs. And there was a grocery store by our house when we first moved here that sold them. And they are my favorite shit. And every time when I went to the grocery store, I would get like, they only had them at Christmas. So I would get like 3 or 4. And then when they went on 50% off after clearance, I would buy whatever they had left. And that grocery store went out of business, and there are no authorized Truffle pig retailers around where I live. So my husband, who is, I like to think I naturally give pretty damn good presents.
Mm-hmm. I can vouch for that.
This is not my husband's gift. Gifts are actually really hard for him. He ordered me a literal fucking bucket of individually wrapped Truffle pigs like months ago for Christmas. They had to sit in customs for a while. They don't sell them all year. Like, they sell them in batches every once in a while. And he got me a bucket of Truffle pigs for Christmas. And Jesus Christ, I hope I don't have to make them last until next Christmas, because that's not going to happen. But they are definitely my vices this week. They're so, like, can you see the little pig dude on the package? He's so fucking
Aww.
cute. Yeah. So that's my vice for this week, is a bucket of Truffle pigs.
Oh, it's such a good story too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got lucky. If you would like to find us on the internet, we are everywhere at Paper and Vices, including on Patreon, where you can find rants that were too long to fit into a weekly podcast, behind the scenes clips. You can get yourself some stickers or a sparkly Paper and Vices pin.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of alcohol we drink and also podcast hosting makes this not free to run. So, you know, anything you help us out with will just go towards keeping the podcast going. Oh, right. Yes. And books. We have to buy that shit because apparently we don't know how to use libraries.
What's a library?
If you want to email us because you have book or vice suggestions, Lee at paperandvices.com or Victoria at paperandvices.com.
In the meantime, don't be an asshole, smoke a joint, and take care of yourself.
This has been a production of Paper and Vices, LLC. Copyright 2022. This episode is presented for entertainment purposes only, and any vice should only be pursued within the legal boundaries, common sense, and personal responsibility of each person. Please check your local laws and do not engage in any form of bitch badassery. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and guests only, and do not in any way represent the views of Paper and Vices LLC, nor any named persons, nor should they be considered personal, medical, or legal advice. Previous episodes and other commentary can be found at paperandvices.com and patreon.com/paperandvices.